So today we're going to be doing finding an angle using the sine rule. So if we have a look here, the first example says find the value of alpha in each triangle if alpha is acute. We're later on going to be talking a bit more about that. So correct to the nearest 0.1 of a degree. So in other words, correct to 1 decimal place when it's in degrees. Alright, so looking at this first question here, we're finding the angle alpha. I'm going to call that angle A because we're starting our rule with sine A because we're looking for angle A. So if it's angle A there, this would be little a. And our other angle and side, well, we've got to look at the side really. The other side is little b, and the angle opposite will be angle B. So summing in, we have sine alpha. We've called it alpha, so we'll stick with that, over 9. Sine B will be sine 59 degrees, over 11. Okay, now we're going to solve an equation here. The first thing we're getting rid of is the divided by 9. So we're going to come over to the other side. We're going to keep sine alpha here. Come over to the other side and we have sine 59 degrees over 11. And we're going to do the opposite of divided by 9, which is times by 9. I'll just move that equal sign down a little bit. Okay, now, the next thing you're going to do, sorry, I'll just replace all of these with alphas that we're finding. Okay, now, the next thing you're going to do is work this out on your calculator. Just work it all out. You will get a decimal, and we're going to write the whole thing down. So we're going to type in fraction key, sine 59 on the top of the fraction, and close the bracket like I've done there. Then we're going down to the bottom of the fraction and put 11. Then we're going to right arrow out of that. And now we're doing times 9 and press equals. And we're writing all of that down, the whole lot. Now don't clear your calculator, leave that there. Just leave it on there. We're coming back to that part in a minute. Now, we're getting rid of sine. So we've done these before when we did right angle triangle trigonometry. To get rid of sine, we're going to do the opposite operation, which is sine to the minus 1 when we take it over here. This whole decimal goes in the bracket. No rounding. Otherwise you're going to muck the answer up. Now, when you go to your calculator to do it, we are going to press, so there's my answer still on my calculator. So we're going to do shift sign, right? And now we're going to press the answer key, which will be bringing up the last answer we had in the calculator. And just close the bracket off and press equals. And that's what we're writing down. Now, that answer is in degrees because we've got the D on the top of the screen there for degrees. And now we're rounding off to 1 decimal place, like they wanted over here. And the 3 is less than 5, so we're staying as a 5 here. And your answer is 44.5 degrees. So looking at the next question. This is what we're finding, alpha. So our capital A is going in that spot. Little a will be the side opposite it. The other side we know is little b. So the angle that we're looking at will be opposite that. So subbing in, we have sine alpha over 160 equals sine 25 degrees 37 minutes over 75. So now remember we're solving an equation. So we're going to write sine alpha. We're going to get rid of the divided by 160. Come to the other side and times by it. So this side now looks like this. And we're going to do the opposite of that, which is times 160. Move this equals down a little bit. All right, now you're going to your calculator and you're going to work all of this out. Just see what decimal we end up with. So we're typing fraction key, sine 25, press the degrees button. 37, press the degrees button. Close the bracket, down arrow 75, so it's looking like that at the moment. Now I'm going to right arrow out of the fraction key and then press times 160. So right arrow out of it, times 160, and then press equals, and that's what we're writing. Write the whole thing down. Don't get rid of that off your calculator, keep it. Okay, now we're getting alpha, so we're going to get rid of sine. Come over to the other side and do the opposite operation, which is shift sine or inverse sine. Put this whole decimal down. Okay, so now we're ready to do it on the calculator. So remember, I haven't cleared that. I'm just going to go straight to doing shift sine or inverse sine. Then I'm going to press my answer button. That's the last answer that's going to be thought of by the calculator, and it'll work it out. And we're going to write that down. And this is your answer in degrees, because we are finding an angle here. And we're going to one decimal place, which will go to 67.3 degrees because we have a 7 here. All right, so we're going up by 1 with the 2. All right, let's have a look at this next one. We are finding the size of angle A. Now, it's a bit tricky looking at some of these diagrams, but angle A is there. That's what we're looking for. So there's angle A. Little a will be opposite it. Here's little b, and the angle B will be opposite it. All right, so just be a bit careful when they're long, skinny sort of triangles. So we've got sine A over 53 equals sine B, 21 degrees, over little b, 37. All right, so we're getting rid of the divided by 53. So we come over here and we have sine A equals sine 21 degrees over 37. Now we're doing the opposite of divided by 53, that's times 53. Now let's work it all out on the calculator and see what we get. You can do this yourself now. Press the fraction key, sine 21, close the bracket, down arrow 37, right arrow times 53 equals, you should get this. Don't clear your calculator. We're now going to find A, get rid of the sine, come to the other side and do inverse sine. Don't clear your calculator. All right, now we're going to do the calculator. So you can do this on your own. You're doing shift sine or inverse sine. Press the answer button, close the bracket, equals. Now, that's what I've got, but we're going to the nearest minute this time. So I'm going to press my degrees button, and that's what I am looking at. Now, I'm going to go straight to the rounding to the nearest minute here. So if you look at the seconds, it's 11.11 seconds. That's less than 30 seconds, so we're going to keep the minutes at 53 minutes. So our answer is this. Okay, now, if you look at that answer that you get off your calculator will always be an acute angle, every time. So, this question up here actually wants us to find the obtuse angle. Now, if they ask for that, all you need to do is do 180 degrees minus whatever acute angle the calculator gave you. So all we've got to do now is work that out. I'm not going to explain all the reasoning behind this at the moment. It's easier just to learn what to do. All right, so I've still got that on the calculator. I might leave it there. So we're going to do 180, take away, and if I press answer, it'll take away what we had there, equals. Now press your degrees minutes button. That gives you 149 degrees. Now see the seconds is now 48.89. That's above 30 or more, so we're going to go up by 1 in the minutes. So it's 149 degrees, 7 minutes. And that's the answer to your question. So we're going to do another one of those where we're finding an obtuse angle. So we just go through the normal process. We're finding angle A, so this is little a. Little b would be the other side, and angle B would be opposite it. So let's sub in. We have sine A over 99 equals sine B over 77. Right, now we're finding sine A. Get rid of the divided by 99. Come over to the other side, copy what you see. Opposite of divided by 99 is times 99. Right, we're now going to go to the calculator, type in what you see. So, fraction key. On the top, sine 33. Close the bracket. Down arrow, 77. Right arrow, times 99. And press equals and write it down. Alright, we're finding A now, so we have to get rid of the sign. Opposite operation of sine is inverse sine. Come over to the other side, we're doing inverse sine. Keep that on your calculator. Hope I didn't clear mine. Let's have a look. No, I've still got it there. Right, so I've still got it there from last time. So now we're doing inverse sine, answer, close your bracket, equals, and that's what we get. Now it is an angle, so we're going to degrees and minutes, and we're going to write that down. The seconds is 49.49 seconds. That's above 30, so we're going to add 1 to the minutes. So we have 44 degrees, 27 minutes. Okay, so as I said, that gives you an acute angle answer off your calculator every time. They want you to do an obtuse angle, so we're just going to do 180 degrees minus that answer. And you can work that out on your calculator and work out what we're going to get. I'm just going to try and work this out myself here. So I've got 60 minutes in a degree, so I've just done that there. That'll take us up to 45 degrees, that'll take us up to 50, and that'll be the answer. You can check it on your calculator. Now, I'm going to go into the next video doing examples on the next lot of work here, but I'll just go through it. If this becomes a bit too confusing, you know, it is a bit of an extension for you at the moment, but I'll just go through it all because there's some of you that will understand this work. So when finding an angle, you can see we've done finding an acute angle and finding an obtuse angle so far. Well, sometimes both answers are possible. So what we've got to do is we find the obtuse angle. Regardless, we get the acute angle off the calculator, we find that obtuse angle as well. And then we want to know, do the 3 angles in the triangle, just move that over, that's in the way, in the triangle, add up to 180 degrees. Now, you might not have all 3 angles, right? So what you've actually got to know is you might only have 2 of them, right? So, or do 2 angles in the triangle add up to less than 180 degrees. That's probably what's going to be happening, right? Because what you need is if 2 angles add up to less than 180 degrees, then there's something left for the 3rd angle. But what will happen in some situations is 2 of the angles will add up to 195 degrees. That's too big. So that's impossible. Okay? So if the answer to this question is yes, then you have two possible answers. One of them will be the acute angle off your calculator, and the other one will be your obtuse angle that you've just worked out is definitely possible. So in the next video, we're going to go through some examples just looking at that ambiguous case.